A question given to us from Atlas Rises gives us the following. Is No Man's Sky a better game? Should I buy? What has changed? For those of you still on the fence, here's a quick rundown of how things have changed and if you should buy. Enjoy. No Man's Sky on a base level is basically a sci-fi walking simulator. Essentially, without regarding lore and other mechanics, this is basically what you're doing. You explore diverse planets, all with life and ecology, and gather resources. To put it bluntly, it's basically Minecraft in space. This doesn't include the many elements which actually make the game to be completely different and good. One of the biggest things I see is how people compare it to Star Citizen and Elite. Now understand that No Man's Sky is far from as polished as these games, and I do truly accept that. Star Citizen has incredible graphics and combat, but where you explore these abandoned space stations and have to kill, find and destroy alien life forms. It's perfect in that sense. It's an incredible game and does deserve a lot of recognition. Elite is basically a game based upon simulation and realism. Elite Dangerous is more the Euro Truck simulator of the sci-fi genre. It has combat which is far from superior to Star Citizen, and it does have planetary landings which are far from superior to No Man's Sky. But the realism involved and the simulation is what makes that game amazing. The sheer amount of small details they put in just to the handling of different ships to the weight of the cargo makes the game incredible in its own way. Now, No Man's Sky does try and do all of this, but it's more of an arcade fashion. It has the small-scale simulation of jobs and trading and fuel, far like Elite Dangerous, but it's still there, and it has the simulation of different stars which have different economies, different factions, but it's more of a chill arcade game. It has the small simulation of combat, so while Star Citizen is purely focused on combat, No Man's Sky does it but in a very arcade way. It feels as if you're playing a game which you played in like the 90s. Well, obviously not like the 90s, but it's more of a game rather than a simulation experience. It's not like Elite Dangerous, and the fact that people who say they copied it really need to look more into it because they are truly completely different games. The way the No Man's Sky genre, or the way the No Man's Sky game completely succeeds is based upon exploring. If you land on a planet, you wouldn't have seen anything like it. There are 10 billion different props and assets, such as plants and trees. Every planet is different and you will find it. If you like finding animals or weird or cute creatures, naming them and placing your mark on this truly massive universe, then this game is for you. Now there's going to be a chance that you'll see the same sort of plant again on another planet. Now this can't be helped, and calling it a lie from Hello Games is just truly wrong. You can't simulate different things every single time. So yeah, this is purely an engine problem, and it isn't anything that they can do about. It's a grind experience, there's no getting away from it. The whole game does revolve around finding materials, and at launch, this was the only thing to do. There was a tiny story, but most of it was just walking around. Now, there is so much more to do. You can craft a massive base, and make your own little farm and get loads of money from it if that's what you're into. Atlas Rises expanded upon this and gave us so much more to do for farming. If you're not into making loads of money, you can just do jobs for factions. This is what Atlas Rises brought for us. You can go into a space station and accept jobs from other people. If you want to just explore, you can do that too. If you want to search planets for wildlife, you can do just that. If you want to just fly around, find resources and trade, you can just do that. If you want to fly around in space, well, sure, you can do it if you want. If you're a story person, Atlas Rises brought around 24 hours of more content. There are so many different paths you can go down, so every little answer that you do in the story is going to change the way it happens, and there's other things you can do to expand upon the lore, such as going through the Atlas path and finding these cool little structures which give more information about the universe. I don't want to spoil it a bit too much. The game is not a rushed game. You complete it at your own pace. You can't speedrun it. You can't complete it in a couple of hours. This game takes time to learn and to master. If you're the type of person looking for a Call of Duty in space, or a fast-paced, super realistic simulation trucking space sim, you've came to a wrong place, because that's what No Man's Sky is. No Man's Sky at a base, as said, is simply a Minecraft in space. But when you explore and look into the deeper ends of the game, you'll find it so much more from that. It's a game built upon foundations, and the game does still feel unfinished at some points. Even as a massive fan, I can still say there's things to work on, and I'll talk about these in a later video. But multiplayer is one that I'll talk about now, because this is something which was a big selling point and people are still confused about it. But multiplayer is there, but it still needs work, and I completely understand how hard it is to simulate something like that in a massive universe like this. It will come in due time. I'll say it now though, if you're currently looking for a game to explore with your friends, fight enemies together and take down huge massive spaceships, that's not going to happen because the multiplayer is very limited. If you're going into No Man's Sky looking for this only, then you're probably going to want to hold off for buying it. Now, this is the things which No Man's Sky definitely isn't. It's not a super realistic game, and it definitely isn't a simulation game. It doesn't have super realistic combat or fully functioning multiplayer, and if you look at the E3 trailers, this is definitely not what you're gonna see. However, here is the things which No Man's Sky definitely is. It's an exploration game and an arcade game based in space, a trading and resource collecting game, a game to chill out and relax with, a game to meet and find new and incredible worlds, a game with over 24 hours of story content. It's a unique experience, and it's a game based upon meeting aliens and animals on the planets which you discover, creating bases and owning capital ships, a farming game, and it's about grinding but with huge payouts at the end. While the points I have made don't sound too flattering, trust me, this game has so much to offer. All you need to do is look at when the game released and look at the patch notes for Atlas Rises. You do need to understand, as much as I do not want to admit it, the game is still in development and you'll have to give them a chance. Atlas Rises as a whole is the type of updates that we want to see. Foundation was brilliant. Foundation brought us base building and owning capital ships, and Pathfinder gave us vehicles and built upon base building again. Atlas Rises just gave so much more to do. It gave us story, it gave us new content, it gave us new graphics, it just gave us a lot more, and if they continue updating the game like this, trust me, this is going to be the game you want to buy. If you want a simulation experience, then you're going to want to play Elite Dangerous, because that's what that game is about. Elite Dangerous does have these planetary landings, but the planets just don't look anything like No Man's Sky. You can't really create a screenshot like in Elite Dangerous, if that makes sense. No Man's Sky, the planets look beautiful at some points, whereas Elite Dangerous, as far as they are really nice, some of them just don't look as good. Elite Dangerous is truly the truck simulation of the sci-fi genre. If you want the combat and graphics side, go to Star Citizen. Star Citizen does have really cool planetary landings, but for some reason I just feel more attached to No Man's Sky. If you want the unique worlds and the quintillions of planets to explore, and the arcade experience which feels more chilled out and less grindy in a way, it still feels grindy, but just less realistic, come to No Man's Sky. I really hope this cleared up some of stuff those still on the fence. It's kind of cool, kind of weird to talk about, but I hope it helped a little bit. So as per usual, I will see you in the next one. Before I do go, sorry for the lack of content. Again, been going through a lot of shit, let's just put it that way. And I went to London. I don't have any pictures from London. I uploaded one from my Twitter. Yeah, so whatever. Anyway guys, I will see you in the next one, so peace.